Chapter 2. Black Dog. One January morning, the captain got up early and walked down to the beach. It was a cold winter's day, with the sun still low in the sky. My mother was upstairs with my father, who was now very ill. That year, the winter was long and hard, and we knew my father would not see another spring. I was getting the table ready for the captain's breakfast. Suddenly, the door of the inn opened, and a man stepped inside. I had never seen him before. He wore a sailor's short sword by his side, and I noticed he had only 3 fingers on his left hand. I asked him what he wanted, and he said, "I'll take a glass of rum." But before I could fetch it, he told me to come near him. "Is this table for my old friend Bill?" the stranger asked, with a terrible smile. I told him I did not know his friend Bill, and the breakfast was for a man who was staying at the inn. "We call him the captain," I said. "Does he have a sword cut on his face?" he asked. "Yes," I said. "That's Bill," said the stranger. "Is he here?" I told him the captain was out walking, and the man waited, like a cat waiting for a mouse. I did not like the look on his face, and was sure the captain would not be pleased to see him. When the captain came back, the man pulled me behind the door. The captain opened the door and walked across the room. "Bill?" said the stranger. The captain turned quickly and saw us. The colour went from his face, and he looked old and sick. "Black Dog," he said. He stared at the stranger. "And what do you want?" "I'll have a glass of rum," said Black Dog. "Then you and I'll sit and talk like old friends." I fetched the rum, and they told me to go away. I went out of the room, but the voices became louder. "No! No! And that's an end of it!" I heard the captain shout. "If one is caught, we'll all be caught." There were more shouts, and then the sound of the table crashing over. Next, I heard the sound of swords. Then out ran Black Dog, with blood running down his shoulder. He ran out of the inn and along the road. In a few seconds, he had disappeared from sight. The captain watched him go, then said, "Jim, quick, bring me rum." He turned and went back into the inn, but he could only just stand on his feet. I realized he was feeling ill and ran to fetch the rum. Then I heard him falling and hurried back to find him on the floor. My mother heard the noise and came downstairs. We lifted the captain's head. His eyes were closed, and his face was a terrible colour. At that moment, Dr. Livesey arrived to see my father. He looked at the captain and said to my mother, "His heart can't take much more of this. I told him drinking rum would kill him, and it nearly has." The captain opened his eyes and tried to sit up. "Where's Black Dog?" he asked. "There's no black dog here," said the doctor. "Get on your feet, and I'll help you to your bed." Chapter 3. The Black Spot. Later that day, I took the captain a cool drink. "Jim," he said, "you're the only person here worth anything. You'll bring me some rum, won't you, boy?" "The doctor said—" I began. He swore about the doctor. "Look, Jim, 1 glass is all I ask. I'll pay you for it." "The only money I want," I said, "is the money you owe my father. But I'll get you 1 glass of rum, no more." He was grateful and drank it quickly. "Did the doctor say how long I must lie in my bed?" he asked. "A week," I told him. "A week?" he cried. "I can't do that. They'll have the black spot on me by then. They'll come for me." "Who will? Black Dog?" I said. "Yes, but there's worse than him. It's my old sea chest they want, but I'll show them. Jim, if I get the black spot, you go to that doctor. Tell him to bring a crowd of law officers and a local judge to the inn. They can catch Flint's crew, all that are left, at the Admiral Benbow. I was Flint's first ship's officer, and I'm the only one who knows the place. He told me when he was dying. But don't call the law unless they give me the black spot, or if you see the seaman with 1 leg. He's worse than any of them." "But what is the black spot, Captain?" I asked. "That's a message, boy. I'll tell you if they give me that. Keep your eyes open, Jim, and I'll give you half of everything I have." He talked for a little longer, then fell into a heavy sleep, and I left him. That night, my father died. This put all other thoughts to one side, and I had no time to worry about the captain. The next morning, the captain came downstairs. He didn't eat much food, but he drank more rum than usual. He helped himself, and we were too busy to stop him. There were visits from neighbors, and my father's burial to arrange. The day after the burial was cold and foggy. At about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I was standing at the door of the inn when I saw a blind man coming along the road. He was feeling his way with a stick. "Will any kind friend tell a poor blind man where he is?" he said. "You're at the Admiral Benbow Inn, Black Hill Cove, my good man," I said. "I hear a young voice," he said. Will you give me your hand, my kind young friend, and take me inside?" I held out my hand, and the terrible, soft-speaking, eyeless man took hold of it, like a dog biting a bone. He pulled me violently towards him. "Now, boy," he said, "take me to the captain, or I'll break your arm." And I had never heard a voice so cruel and cold. I was so frightened by the blind man's violence that I obeyed him without question, and took him into the room where the sick captain was sitting. He saw the blind man, and a look of fear passed across his face. "Sit where you are, Bill," said the blind man. "I can't see, but I can hear a finger move. Hold out your right hand." I watched him put something in the captain's hand. "And now that's done," said the blind man, and he quickly went out of the inn. I heard his stick tap, tap, tapping away along the road. The captain opened his hand and looked into it. "10 o'clock!" he cried, and jumped up. He put his hand round his neck, made a strange sound, and fell, face down onto the floor. I ran to him, calling to my mother, but the captain was dead.